Did you know that the single biggest reason most of our relationships fall apart, from friendships to romance, is that we unwittingly grip, push, or control people to fit a script in our heads? Crazy, right? Here, something even crazier. The ultimate fix might just lie in a simple yet radical idea taught by Mel Robbins in her part of the book, the Let Them Theory. Imagine stepping into a crowded party. You spot your closest friend wave, and they wave back, but quickly shift focus to other people. You feel a pang. Why am I not included? So many of us experience these moments, being left out of friend groups, dealing with partners who won't change their habits, or watching loved ones sink deeper into troubles we can't rescue them from. But what if the best path to richer, more fulfilling relationships is not to chase, not to fix, but to let them be? According to Mel Robbins, the more you let people be who they are, the better your relationships will be. That's the guiding principle behind her Let Them Theory, which flips everything we thought we knew about how to help or motivate people. It's big and it's bold. And if you stick around, you'll discover how these insights from chapters 11 to 20 of her book might completely reinvent the way you see yourself, your friends, your family, and your romantic partners. But heads up, we're not just summarizing. Today is going to be an epic deep dive where we'll explore the mind-blowing psychology and practical steps behind this approach. We'll talk about what to do when your buddy won't text you back, why your spouse might resist you on every single little thing, and how to gracefully handle heartbreak, difficult friendships, or even your own self-imposed limitations. Think you know everything about self-improvement? You might be in for a surprise. Because in the next few sections, we'll open up about adult friendship, why it gets so complicated and how to make it fun again. Motivating others, spoiler, you can't force them, but you can inspire them. Helping struggling loved ones, the difference between supporting and enabling. Choosing the love you deserve. From chapter 18 onward, a perspective shift that might just save you from heartbreak or help you rebuild after one. We're referencing the powerful lessons from your relationships and the Let Them Theory in Mel Robbins' book. Ready to take your life's relationships to the next level? Let's dive in. Chapter 11, The Truth No One Told You About Adult Friendships. Do you feel like, as a kid, friendships were as easy as lunch breaks and playgrounds? Yet now even scheduling a quick coffee date can feel like pulling teeth. Hang in there, because in Chapter 11, Mel Robbins spotlights a harsh reality. Adult friendship is unbelievably hard if we keep clinging to our childhood expectations. Picture your younger self in high school or college. Everyone was right there. You moved from class to class in big groups, had the same daily routines, talked about the same pop culture references, played the same sports, or attended the same after-school clubs. Friendships formed almost by default. Remember how you always knew who you'd sit with at lunch or whose texts you'd respond to first? That old sense of security was baked into your environment. But Mel Robbins points out something few people realize. Once you enter your 20s, you're hit by a phenomenon she calls the Great Scattering. Everyone chooses different universities, new cities, new jobs, new partners, and basically scatters to the winds. That's when the group structure of childhood crumbles, and suddenly, friendship is no longer a group sport. It becomes incredibly personal, sporadic, and often fleeting. Let's be real, it's tough. One moment you and your best friend are downing pizza at midnight watching Netflix together. The next you're both juggling jobs and only see each other once every 6 months, if you're lucky. Meanwhile, they might make new friends that you do know. You see pictures on Instagram. Hold on, we used to be besties, now they're hanging out with that coworker I've never met. That can sting. But here's the big lesson that Mel Robbins shares. Instead of feeling bitter, left out, or insecure, we can use the Let Them Theory. You have to let them evolve, move, change, or even forget to text back, without taking it personally. Why? Because that's the natural rhythm of adult friendships. You can't keep repeating the old playbook of expecting your friends to always be there 24/7. From a psychological perspective, any attempt to cling or force someone to remain exactly as they were can create friction. According to relationship psychology, perceived pressure is one of the top reasons friends drift apart. The pushy vibes can feel suffocating. When we say, let them, we allow people space to do what they need to, which ironically can keep the lines of friendship more open. Here's a quick challenge for you. Think about a friend you've been resenting for changing. Maybe they found a new hobby, or they got married, or they moved to a new city. For just one day, see if you can embrace the Let Them Theory. No resentful texts, no bitterness, just acceptance. Okay, I see you've got your schedule, I see you've got new connections, and that's fine. Notice how it feels to relinquish that control. Now that we've confronted the new normal of adult friendships, how do we keep them from fading away entirely? Or if they have faded, how do we bring new, fulfilling friendships into our lives? Great questions. Chapter 12 explores exactly why some friendships fade and how to navigate that reality with grace. Chapter 12, Why Some Friendships Naturally Fade. Ever had that best friend from high school who now only gives you one-word replies, if at all? Sometimes it's not even an argument that breaks a friendship. It just fades. In Chapter 12, Mel Robbins explains how shifting proximities, life stages, and energies often cause relationships to dissolve. Picture two college roommates, inseparable for 4 years, bonding over broken hearts, cheap ramen, and 3 a.m. philosophical chats. After graduation, one moves to Seattle, the other stays in Boston. They text for a while, plan a big trip, but it never quite happens. Soon, months, maybe years, go by without any real connection. Mel Robbins says it's rarely personal. It's about proximity. Are you physically near each other, or at least have overlapping life patterns? Timing. Are you in similar life stages, or does one have 3 toddlers while the other is living the digital nomad lifestyle across continents? Energy. Do you still click, or do you sense friction or awkwardness whenever you try to meet? Human beings naturally connect with those who share their immediate sphere. Multiple studies show that we build deeper relationships with those we see consistently, be it coworkers, neighbors, or gym buddies. The friction arises when these pillars, proximity, timing, energy, aren't aligned. Mel Robbins shares a personal story of feeling alienated when longtime friends found new social circles right under her nose. She wrestled with jealousy, bitterness, and ironically pushed them away by demanding, "Why wasn't I included?" That negative energy only drew them further from her. Think of your friend who's just discovered a new healthy living routine. They started CrossFit, meal prepping, and going to bed at 9 p.m. Meanwhile, you enjoy late-night cocktails with your coworkers. Suddenly, the lifestyle overlap is gone. You message them to hang out at 10 p.m. and they say, "I'm asleep by then, sorry." They invite you to a 6 a.m. run. You respond, "Are you out of your mind?" Slowly, the dynamic fizzles. So what do we do when friendships start to feel forced or fade into oblivion? According to Robbins, part of the solution lies in the powerful skill of letting go. You can say, let them, shift priorities, let them move on, let them expand. By letting go, ironically, you free yourself from drama and keep the door open for new or rekindled connections. If Chapter 12 is about letting old connections drift peacefully, Chapter 13 is all about forging brand new ones and making them the best possible. Let's see how to find, or create, friendships that outshine any you've had before. Chapter 13, How to Create the Best Friendships of Your Life. Have you ever walked past the same people every day, maybe the barista who knows your latte order by heart, but never learned their name? Chapter 13 teaches us how adult friendships must be actively created. Mel Robbins shares a turning point story. She moved to a small town, knew absolutely no one, and spent an entire year feeling miserable and isolated. Finally, with a little push from her daughters, she knocked on a neighbor's door to say hello. Awkward? Yes. Life-changing? Absolutely. The key principles. Go first, don't wait for people to invite you. Introduce yourself, smile, compliment them, and get to know them. Make that first move. Give it a year. Forming genuine bonds takes time. You can't rush true friendship. Just like planting seeds, you have to water them before you see growth. Weak ties matter. The local store clerk, the neighbor you wave at, or the person who runs next to you at the gym. These weak ties can be stepping stones to deeper social circles. Keep practical tips. Compliment strangers. If you love that person's shoes, tell them. It's a small, safe first step that invites positive energy. Track names. Challenge yourself to note down names and interesting details. This helps build familiarity. Host micro-events. Too nervous to throw a big party? Start small. Invite 1 or 2 new acquaintances for coffee or start a Wednesday morning walking group. In today's social media age, we have digital friends around the globe, yet we often lack deep, meaningful friendships right where we live. A side effect of liking each other's photos is that we assume we're connected. But genuine closeness is more about consistent IRL or video chat interactions. Proximity in one sense or another. So you're opening the door to better friendships. Great. But what if you're looking at your partner or your best friend and they're still stuck in toxic habits or refusing to grow? In Chapter 14, Mel Robbins unveils the big twist. People only change when they feel like it. Chapter 14. People only change when they feel like it. Ever tried convincing your spouse or roommate to adopt better habits? Waved endless self-help articles in their face, only to be met with a shrug? This section states it bluntly. People only change when they feel like it. Picture this: you're trying to get your partner to be healthier. You plan out their workouts, stock the fridge with kale and kombucha, nag them about that second donut. Every time you speak, they roll their eyes and double down on old habits. Why? Because they feel you're trying to control them, and in human psychology, we cling to our sense of autonomy like it's oxygen. Key psychological insights. Perceived threat: when you push, people resist. It's as if you're threatening their sense of freedom. Internal vs. external motivation. True behavior change has to come from within. Telling them do this, do that seldom works because they have to want it. The myth of mind control. We think if we find just the right words, we'll convince them to change overnight. But it's not that simple. Sometimes the perfect advice from you just sounds like a lecture to them. According to Robbins, the ultimate irony is that the more you let them be, the more potential they have to discover the drive to change on their own. For instance, if your partner sees you living in a healthy, joyful way, without making them feel ashamed, they might get curious and join you. In psychology, there's a concept called the autonomy paradox. The more you try to remove someone's autonomy, the less they cooperate, even if your intentions are good. That's why parents who micromanage their kids' study schedules often end up with rebellious kids who procrastinate everything. But how does one walk this line of letting them, while not abandoning them entirely, especially if they're struggling or clearly need support? That's where the next chapters, 15 and 16, come in, focusing on real strategies for influencing others without controlling or rescuing them. Chapter 15, Unlock the Power of Your Influence. Might sound contradictory. Wait, if I shouldn't push them, how do I influence them? Chapter 15 clarifies that while you can't force people to change, you can inspire them by creating an environment that makes change more attractive or safe for them to embrace. The key strategies. Positive role modeling. Show how you've implemented the desired habit or change in your own life. If your friend sees you physically energized, happy, or successful from your new approach, they might think, maybe that's worth trying. Subtle encouragement. Instead of constant nagging, occasionally share your wins, excitements, or resources that helped you. Hey, I found a super fun hiking trail. Want to come with me sometime? Is more inviting than get off the couch. ABC loop, as described by Robbins. Ask open-ended questions. How do you feel about your health these days? Behave the way you want them to behave. Lead by example. Celebrate small progress. If they do something positive, highlight it. That's awesome you went for a walk today. Let's say your best friend is anxious about job hunting. Instead of saying you need to apply for better jobs, show them how you overcame job hunt anxiety. Demonstrate the resources you used. Ask them about their career vision, no judgments. Then celebrate even the littlest victory. You updated one line on your resume, that's progress. Try this for a week. Pick someone in your life who you think really needs to change, and vow to step away from direct confrontation. Instead, ask them how they feel about their situation, subtly share tips that worked for you, and celebrate any glimmer of effort they make. See if that feels less stressful for both of you. But what if their struggle runs deeper, like addiction, severe depression, or an unhealthy relationship? At some point, do you drop everything and rescue them? Chapter 16 addresses a tough love scenario. The more you rescue, the more they sink. Chapter 16. The more you rescue, the more they sink. Nobody likes to see loved ones in pain. But if you consistently bail them out, you might accidentally be teaching them that they don't have to solve anything themselves. Imagine you have a close buddy who's always short on rent. Every month you swoop in, loan them money, which you rarely get back. Over time, they don't learn to manage finances. They learn to rely on you. Eventually, resentment builds on both sides. You feel used, they feel controlled. There's a thin line between supporting someone and enabling them. By always cushioning the blow, we strip them of the urgency or responsibility needed to address the root problems. Practical distinctions. Support, offering help when someone is genuinely trying to solve their issues. Enablement, consistently rescuing them from consequences they would otherwise face. Healthy boundaries, If they keep refusing to work on their problems, you must learn to say, let them experience those consequences, or they'll never confront the need for true change. We've all had that friend or family member who goes, "I promise I'm not gambling anymore," yet ironically calls you from a casino 24 hours later, begging you to pick them up because they lost their wallet. And of course, you're the designated wallet finder for the 5th time. "Hey buddy, maybe I should just install a GPS on your wallet, or better yet, a lock on your car's ignition so you can't drive to the casino." But jokes aside, if we keep playing the hero, we keep them from becoming their own hero. So if rescuing just keeps them stuck, how do we properly support them without enabling? Chapter 17 outlines the strategy to provide help the right way. Chapter 17, How to Provide Support the Right Way. When a loved one is struggling, maybe they're depressed or dealing with a breakup or fighting addiction, total abandonment might feel cruel. But so is constant rescue. Chapter 17 focuses on how to walk that line. The core components. Offer help with conditions. For example, "I'm here to support you in finding a therapist or going to meetings, but if you skip appointments or don't try, I'm stepping back." This sets boundaries that encourage them to actively participate in their own recovery. Believe in their ability to heal. Continually express that you believe they have the power to overcome their struggles. This shift in mindset alone can be incredibly motivating for them. Stand by with compassion. You're not punishing them when you refuse to keep bailing them out. You're just letting them face reality. But you can still say, "I love you. I'm proud of you for any positive steps you take." Studies on learned helplessness show that when people are always saved from any negative outcome, they never develop the psychological muscles for resilience. By strategically stepping back, you allow them to experience consequences and eventually regain their sense of self-efficacy. Let's say you have a sibling who's consistently dropping the ball on their chores or finances at home. You can say, "I'll help you set up a basic budget, but after this, the late fees or disruptions are on you." This can sound tough at first, but it's a real expression of love because it fosters independence. We've covered friendships and how to support others. But what about the romantic realm? In Chapter 18, we delve into the part of the book that addresses dating and relationships, and how letting people be who they truly are can help you find the love you actually deserve. Chapter 18, Let them show you who they are. How do I know if this person is right for me? The answer might be simpler than you think. Watch their actions. Let them show you. We often cling to potential or fantasy instead of looking at reality. In relationships, that can be lethal. Robbins says, if they consistently refuse to commit or show up late or treat you poorly, don't paint them as an ideal partner in your head. Let them reveal who they really are. Picture dating someone who texts you at random hours but never initiates anything real. Then you find yourself making excuses. They're just really busy. They must be so stressed. Maybe if I try harder, they'll come around. Meanwhile, they are essentially telling you, I have zero intention of prioritizing you. Let them flake if they're going to flake. That's valuable data for you. Let them show whether they respect your boundaries or not. Let them reveal their true preferences and attitudes, even if it's not what you'd hoped for. When you're constantly the one adjusting, chasing, or rationalizing, you might be missing the truth. They're just not on the same page. Chapter 18 says that acceptance of someone's genuine self is liberating. You can stop controlling, stop begging, and simply assess, is this arrangement actually good for me? But wait, what if you're in a relationship that's almost perfect, except you've been stuck in a perpetual state of, where are we going from here? Chapter 19 dives into taking your relationship to the next level, or recognizing when it's time to walk away. Chapter 19, How to Take Your Relationship to the Next Level. Been in a relationship that's either plateaued or stuck in almost serious mode. Chapter 19 tackles the tricky question of how to progress, and how to handle it if your partner won't. Many of us yearn for deeper commitment but fear scaring the other person off. The big question is, do I compromise or do I stand firm on what I need? Robbins suggests we do the latter. Be honest about your needs and watch how they respond. Say you've been dating for 2 years and you want to live together, but your partner is vague or hesitant. If you always tiptoe around it, you'll never know how serious they are. By calmly stating your desire to move forward, while letting them respond in whichever way they want, you see their genuine commitment level. If they truly value you, they'll have a healthy discussion about next steps. If they dodge the topic or become defensive, that's a revelation. This chapter emphasizes that you don't bulldoze them with ultimatums. Instead, you accept whatever they show you. That acceptance might be painful, but it saves you from a lifetime of guesswork. A 2019 study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that clear communication of relationship expectations significantly improves the odds of a stable partnership. Meanwhile, indefinite, "I don't know where we stand" setup create anxieties and eventual burnout. Not every relationship can be taken to the next level, no matter how much we want it. So how do we cope if it ends, or if heartbreak blindsides us? Chapter 20 dives into endings that become new beginnings. Chapter 20, How Every Ending is a Beautiful Beginning. Let's face it, heartbreak, whether from a romance or a crumbled friendship, can feel like your world has imploded. But Chapter 20 offers a radical reframe. How every ending is a beautiful beginning. Imagine you just went through a gut-wrenching breakup. You're crying on your bed, scrolling through old photos, replaying all the good memories. Feels unbearable, right? Mel Robbins argues that heartbreak, while agonizing, is also an opportunity to rediscover yourself, transform your habits, and demand more from life. Key practical tips for healing. Give yourself space. The dreaded no contact for 30 days rule can be a massive help in detoxing from old relationship patterns. Acknowledge your feelings. Instead of numbing out, allow yourself to fully experience sadness, anger, or regret. Emotional processing speeds recovery. Gradual redefinition. Start small changes in your routine, whether it's redoing your bedroom or picking up a new hobby. This sense of freshness helps you see the future with new eyes. Grief is normal. Multiple psychological studies show that heartbreak activates the same brain areas as physical pain. So treat your broken heart with the same gentleness you'd treat a sprained ankle. Over time, the wound heals, revealing a stronger, wiser you. It's not that heartbreak is fun, but it can catalyze profound self-discovery. When one door slams shut, eventually you notice new windows cracking open, leading to relationships that better match who you are becoming. Now that we've gone chapter by chapter, let's shift into direct, practical takeaways you can apply today. We'll keep it concise, but these are designed to transform your interactions from frustrated to flourishing. Practice the "let them" mindset every morning. Remind yourself daily that each person is an individual with their own choices. Upon waking up, say to yourself, "I will let people do what they do, and I will do what I need to do for myself." This sets your mental tone. Starting your day with purposeful intention can rewire your approach to stress and conflict. The Go First challenge for friendships. Adult friendships don't appear automatically. For 1 week, commit to initiating conversation with at least one acquaintance or stranger per day, whether it's a coworker, the coffee shop barista, or a neighbor. Over time, these micro-interactions can lead to deeper connections. Positive role model method. If you want someone in your life to embrace a habit, show them how fulfilling it is for you. Instead of preaching, let them see you thriving on a new diet, workout, or morning routine. Let them observe the results, no guilt trips. Example, if you want your partner to try yoga, you consistently do it, share how relaxed you feel, and occasionally invite them to join. If they refuse, you simply let them. Healthy support boundaries. To avoid enabling. Next time a friend or loved one needs rescuing, pause, ask, "Am I removing the consequence of their action?" If the answer is yes, find a way to help without eliminating all accountability. You preserve your energy while giving them the opportunity to learn. Relationship clarity checklist. Romantic or close friendships can become murky. Once a month, reflect on these questions. Am I chasing them, or are we meeting halfway? Do they respect my boundaries and desires? Am I ignoring reality in favor of potential? Based on your answers, have an honest conversation or accept the distance if needed. Remember, let them show you who they are. No contact reset post-breakup. You can't truly heal or see clearly if you keep re-triggering old dynamics. Commit to 30 days where you avoid calls, texts, stalking social media, or collecting second-hand updates. This fosters an environment for your mind to recover and reclaim a sense of independence. As we wrap up, remember that all of these insights come from the brilliant framework shared by Mel Robbins in her book section, Your Relationships and the Let Them Theory. The big secret behind improved friendships, deeper love, and healthier boundaries is incredibly simple yet often difficult to implement. Stop trying to control, fix, or manipulate others, and start focusing on your own actions, mindset, and growth. When you embrace letting people do as they choose, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil of trying to orchestrate everything. Some folks might drift away, others will step up, and you become more peaceful, open-minded, and genuinely supportive because you're no longer fueled by anxiety or resentment. But it doesn't end with letting them. You also do the let me part, deciding that you will be the one to say hi first, the one to set boundaries, the one to cultivate new, life-giving connections. If you're tired of that soul-crushing drama or heartbreak, the let them theory gives you permission to step away from the guilt, from the shame, from the illusions of controlling the uncontrollable. So right here, right now, ask yourself, who in my life have I been desperately trying to fix or cling to? What if just once I let them be who they are and then made a healthy decision for my own peace of mind? This might feel scary. You might worry you'll lose them. But guess what? You never really had them if you needed to push so hard for them to stay. Instead, choose the path of personal empowerment. Watch as your relationships transform from chaotic to calm, from forced to free-flowing. That's the magic behind these last 10 chapters of Mel Robbins' Insights, and it can be your magic too, starting right now. We've delved deep, yet we've only scratched the surface of the wisdom Mel Robbins offers in the Let Them Theory. There's so much more nuance, personal stories from the author, and even more in-depth strategies that can revolutionize how you approach every relationship in your life. If you gained any insight today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dive discussions on game-changing personal development ideas. Share this with someone who's struggling in a relationship or someone who can't figure out why all their friends disappeared. Maybe it's exactly what they need. Drop a comment below. Which chapter or idea resonated the most with you? Is there a relationship in your life you feel ready to handle differently now? Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Remember, let them be who they are so you can be who you need to be. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.